Now let's put everything we've learned together. We've talked about networking protocols, IP, TCP, UDP, and HTTP. But what actually happens when someone opens our social media application? Let's follow a single request from start to finish. Imagine you open your phone and type socialmediaapp.com into your browser. The first thing to remember is that computers don't understand domain names like socialmediaapp.com. They communicate using IP addresses as we covered in the previous lesson. So before anything else can happen, your browser needs to find the IP address behind that domain name. This process is called DNS or Domain Name System. Think of DNS as the Internet phone book. And like HTTP, it operates at the application layer or layer 7 of the OSI model. It converts a human readable domain name like socialmediaapp.com into an IP address, something like this. Once the client knows the server IP address, it knows where to send the request. But before sending any data, the client first establishes a TCP connection as we covered earlier. This starts with the TCP three-way handshake so that both sides are connected and ready to exchange data. Now the client can finally send the HTTP request. For example, it might send an HTTP GET request asking for the application's homepage. But before the server processes that request, it needs to answer one more important question. Which application or service inside the server should receive it? What does that mean? Well, after all, a single server is just a computer that can run many different services at the same time. Maybe it's hosting our web application, a database, an email server, an SFTP server. This is where ports come in. You can think of an IP address like the address of an apartment building. The IP address gets you the correct building. The port number tells you which apartment inside that building you want to visit. Different applications listen on different ports. By default, HTTP uses port 80. HTTPS uses port 443. Since our social media application uses HTTPS, the client is really connecting to the IP address 443. The port here tells the operating system of the server exactly which application should receive the request. At the same time, another application on the same server might be listening on a completely different port. For example, a MySQL database commonly listens on port 3306. This is what allows one server to run multiple services without them interfering with each other. Pretty cool, isn't it? Now, the operating system of the server delivers the request to our web application. The application processes it. Maybe it queries the database, maybe it loads some photos, maybe it generates the user feed. Once it's finished, it creates an HTTP response and sends it back to the client over the same TCP connection. The browser receives the response and renders the page on the screen. From the user's point of view, the feed simply appears. That's it. Finally, once all the data has been transferred, the client and the server close the TCP connection. TCP does this using another handshake called the four-way handshake, which cleanly ends the communication and free up resources on both sides. And that's the complete journey of a single request. How cool is that? Now we have one server that actually processes user requests. This is how real-world applications typically start. However, this approach will eventually reach its limits and won't scale infinitely as the user base continues to grow. If that one server suddenly starts receiving, let's say, 1 million requests at the same time, it's simply going to crash. This is what we call a single point of failure, which is just a fancy way of saying one thing breaks and boom, your whole app is on vacation. To solve this problem, we need to move toward distributed system. And that's exactly what we're going to cover next.